Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we have got something special in store for you if you are gearing up for the Microsoft Azure AI Fundamental Certification exam. In this video I will be covering the topics and questions that will help you pass the AI-900 certification exam. I have compiled a 60 practice questions to get you prepped and primed for the success on the Microsoft AI Fundamental Certification exam. But hold on tight because it's not just about answering questions. We will also be explaining the correct options and breaking down the concepts that will make you feel like Azure AI superhero. So if you are ready to ace the Azure AI Fundamental exam and elevate your career to new heights, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join our growing community of tech enthusiasts. So let's gear up and dive into the success. So question number one is that a company employs a team of customer service agents to provide telephone and email support to customers. The company develops a web chatbot to provide automated answer to common customer queries. Which business benefit should the company expect as a result of creating the web chatbot solution? And the options are option A, increased sales, option B, a reduced workload for the customer service agents, and option C, improved product reliability. And the correct option is reduce workload for the customer service agents. So a web chatbot has basically these benefits. Number one is that it is available 24/7. Unlike humans, the web chatbot does not sleep or does not get tired. So it is available 24/7 and it provides faster responses as compared to humans, and it can support multiple languages, and it is also cost effective as compared to human agents. Let's get to the next question, that is question number 2. The question number 2 is that for machine learning progress, how should you split data for training and evaluation? And the options are option A, use features for training and label for evaluation. Option B, randomly split the data into rows for training and rows for evaluation. Option C, use labels for training and features for evaluation. And option D, randomly split the data into columns for training and columns for evaluation. And the correct option is option B, that is randomly split data into rows for training and rows for evaluation. So it is that this is the correct option because randomly splitting rows ensures both training and evaluation sets contain a representative sample of the entire set, maintaining the data distribution. So let's get to the next question, that is question number 3. You build a machine learning model by using the automated machine learning user interface. You need to ensure that the model meets the Microsoft transparency principle for responsible AI. What should you do? And the options are option A, set validation type to auto. Option B, enable explain best model. Option C, set primary metric to accuracy. And option D, set maximum concurrent iterations to 0. And the correct option is option B, that is enable explain best model. And the explanation is that Microsoft AI responsibilities include fairness, reliability and safely, privacy and security, inclusiveness, transparency, and accountability. You can read the detail by pausing the video if you want. So let's get to the next question. And question number 4 is that you are designing an AI system that empowers everyone, including people who have hearing, visual, or other impairments. This is an example of which Microsoft guiding principle for responsible AI. And again, we have the four options of Microsoft guiding principle. These are option A, fairness, option B, inclusiveness, option C, reliability and safety, and option D, accountability. And the correct option is inclusiveness. So according to Microsoft inclusiveness principle, the Microsoft believe that everyone should benefit from intelligent technology, meaning it must incorporate and address a broad range of human needs and experiences. For the 1 billion people with disabilities around the world, AI technologies can be a game changer. Question number 5 is that you are building an AI system. Which task should you include to ensure that the service meets the Microsoft transparency principle for responsible AI? And the options are option A, ensure that all visuals have an associated text that can be read by a screen reader. Option B, enable auto scaling to ensure that a service scales based on demand. Option C, provide documentation to help developers debug code. And option D, ensure that a training dataset is representative of the population. And the correct option is option C, that is, provide documentation to help developers debug code. So, achieving transparency helps the team to understand the data and algorithms used to train the model, what transformation logic was applied to the data, the final model generated, and its associated assets. This transformation offers insights about how the model was created, which allows it to be reproduced in a transparent way. Snapshots within Azure Machine Learning Workspace supports transparency by recording or retraining all training related assets and metrics involved in the experiment. Let's get to the next question. Question number 6 is, what are the three Microsoft guiding principles for responsible AI? Each correct answer represents a complete solution. Note each correct selection is worth 1 point, and the options are option A, knowledgeability, option B, decisiveness, option C, inclusiveness, option D, fairness, option E, opinionatedness, and option F, reliability and safety. And the correct options are the inclusiveness, fairness, and reliability and safety. So these are the basically the 6 guiding principles are fairness, inclusiveness, transparency, privacy and security, reliability and safety, and accountability. Let's get to the next question, that is question number 7. So you run a charity event that involves posting photos of people wearing sunglasses on Twitter. You need to ensure that you only retweet photos that meet the following requirements. Number 1, include one or more faces, and number 2, contain at least one person wearing sunglasses. What should you use to analyze the images? And the options are option A, the verify operation in the face service, option B, the detect operation in the face service, option C, the describe image operation in the computer vision service, and option D, the analyze image operation in the computer vision service. And the correct option is option B, the detect operation in the face service. So the face detection can extract a set of face related attributes such as head pose, age, emotion, facial hair, and glasses. Question number 8 is that when you design an AI system to assess whether loans should be approved, the factors used to make the decision should be explainable. This is an example of which Microsoft guiding principle for responsible AI. And the options are again A, transparency, B, inclusiveness, C, fairness, and D, privacy and security. And the correct option is the transparency. So achieving transparency helps the team to understand the data and algorithms used to train the model, what transformation logic was applied to the data, the final model generated, and its associated assets. This information offers insight about how the model was created, which allows it to be reproduced in a transparent way. Snapshots within Azure machine learning workspaces support transparency by recording or retraining all training related assets and metrics involved in the experiment. So let's get to the next question, that is question number 9. You are building an AI based app. You need to ensure that the app uses the principle for responsible AI. Which two principles should you follow? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. And the options are A. Implement an agile software development methodology. Option B. Implement a process of AI model validation as part of the software review process. Option C. Establish a risk governance committee that includes members of the legal team, members of the risk management team, and a privacy officer. And option D. Prevent the disclosure of the use of AI-based algorithms for automated decision making. And the correct options are option B. Implement a process of AI model validation as part of the software review process. And option C. Establish a risk governance committee that includes members of the legal team, members of risk management team, and a privacy officer. So option B ensures reliability and safety principle, and option C ensures privacy and privacy and security principle of AI. Question number 10 is that which type of machine learning should you use to predict the number of gift cards that will be sold next month? And the options are A. Classification, B. Regression, and C. Clustering. And the correct option is A. Regression. It is because in the most basic sense, regression refers to the prediction of a numeric target. Linear regression attempts to establish a linear relationship between one or more independent variables and a numeric outcome or dependent variable. You use this module to define a linear regression method and then train a model using a labeled dataset. The trained model can then be used to make predictions. Question number 11 is that you have a data set that contains information about taxi journeys that occurred during a given period. You need to train a model to predict the fare of a taxi journey. What should you use as a feature? The options are option A, the number of taxi journeys in the data set. Option B, the trip distance of individual taxi journeys. Option C, the fare of individual taxi journeys. And option D, the trip ID of individual taxi journeys. And the correct option is option B, the trip distance of individual taxi journeys. So option B is the correct option. Question number 12 is that you need to predict the sea level in meters for the next 10 years. Which type of machine learning should you use? And the options are again option A, classification, option B, regression, and option C, clustering. And the correct option is again option B, regression. So again, this is the explanation of the regression. You can pause the video and read it if you want. Let's get to the next question. That is question number 13. And this is that which service should you use to extract text, key value pairs, and table data automatically from scanned documents? The options are option A, form recognizer, option B, text analytics, option C, language understanding, and option D, custom vision. And the correct option is option A, form recognizer. Form recognizer applies advanced machine learning to accurately extract text, key value pairs, and tables from documents. With just a few samples, form recognizer tailors its understanding to your document both on premises and in the cloud. Turn forms into usable data at a fraction of the time and cost so you can focus more time acting on the information rather than compiling it. Let's get to the next question, that is question number 14. And the question is that you use Azure Machine Learning Designer to publish an interface in an inference pipeline. Which two parameters should you use to access the web service? Each correct answer presents part of the solution and each correct selection is worth 1 point. And the options are option A, the model name, option B, the training endpoint, option C, the authentication key, and option D, the REST endpoint. And the correct option is option C, the authentication key. And the next correct option is option D, the REST endpoint. So the option C and D are the correct option. And this is the explanation. You can consume a published pipeline in the published pipelines page. Select a published pipeline and find the REST point of endpoint of it. To consume the pipeline, you need the REST endpoint for your service and the primary key of or for your service. So let's get to the next question. That is question number 15. A medical research project uses a large anonymized dataset of brain scan images that are categorized into predefined brain hemorrhage types. You need to use machine learning to support early detection of the different brain hemorrhage types in the image before the images are reviewed by a person. This is an example of which type of machine learning. And again, we have three options. Option A, clustering, option B, regression, and option C, classification. And the correct option is classification. So the explanation is that there are multiple reasons that the classification is the correct option, and these are: the training data is already tagged as with the correct type of hemorrhage. Classification can be done for more than two classes, which people seem to not realize based on the comments. So this is basically taken from the web page. You do clustering on a group of inputs. For example, the scans of 10 people, you cannot cluster a single input. Clearly, you get a new scan of a new patient and you want to know that what that scan shows. You don't have a group of scans to cluster. And the other reason is that clustering gives no labels. That's why the clustering is not the correct option. You just get groups and don't know what the label is. But in this question, it's very clear they want to know the label that belongs to the new scan, that is classification. Let's get to the next question. Question number 16. And the question is that when training a model, why should you randomly split rows into separate subsets? And the options are: A, to train the model twice to attain better accuracy; option B, to train multiple models simultaneously to attain better performance; and option C, to test the model by using data that was not used to train the model. And the correct option is option C, to test the model by using data that was not used to train the model. So option C is the correct option. Question number 17 is that you are evaluating whether to use a basic workspace or an enterprise workspace in Azure Machine Learning. What are two tasks that require an enterprise workspace? Each correct option represents a complete solution and each correct selection is worth 1 point. And the options are: option A, a graphical user interface GUI to run automated machine learning experiments; option B, create a computer instance to use as a workstation; option C, use a graphical user interface to define and run machine learning experiments from Azure Machine Learning Designer; and option D, create a dataset from a comma separated value, that is CSV file. And the correct option is Option A. That is, use a graphical user interface to run automated machine learning experiments. And this is correct option because the next correct option is option C. Use a graphical user interface to define and run machine learning experiments from Azure Machine Learning Designer. And this is the explanation. You can pause the video and read the explanation if you like. Question number 18 is that you are building a tool that will process images from retail stores and identify the products of competitors. The solution will use a custom model. Which Azure Cognitive service should you use? And the options are A. Custom vision, B. Form recognizer, C. Face, and D. Computer vision. And the correct option is option A. Custom vision. So Azure Custom Vision is an image recognition service that lets you build, deploy, and improve your own image identifier models. An image identifier applies labels which represent classification or objects to images according to their detected visual characteristics. Unlike the computer vision service, custom vision allows you to specify your own labels and train custom models to detect them. Question number 19 is that what are two metrics that you can use to evaluate a regression model? Each correct answer represents a complete solution and each correct selection is worth 1 point. And the options are option A, coefficient of determination, or 2, option B, F1 score, option C, root mean square error, that is RMSE, option D, area under curve, that is AUC, and option E, balanced accuracy. And the correct options are option A, the coefficient of determination, that is R2, and the next correct option is option C, root mean squared error, that is RMSE. So these are the correct option. For option A, R squared or coefficient of determination represent the predictive power of the model as a value between minus infinity and 1. 1.00 means that there is a perfect fit and the fit can be arbitrarily poor, so the scores can be negative. And the explanation for option C is that RMS loss or root mean square error, also called root mean square deviation, measures the difference between values predicted by a model and the values observed from the environment that is being modeled. So let's get to the next question, that is question number 20. And the question is, let me get to the question. Which type of machine learning should you use to identify groups of people who have similar purchasing habits? And again, we have the three options. Options are option A, classification, option B, regression, and option C, clustering. And the correct option is, and let me show the correct option. And it is the clustering. So option C or clustering is the correct options. You can let me get back. And so the clustering is a machine learning task that is used to group instances of data into clusters that contain similar characteristics. Clustering can also be used to identify relationships in a data set. Question number 21 is that which metric can you use to evaluate a classification model? And the options are A. True positive rate, B. Mean absolute error, that is MAE, option C. Coefficient of determination, that is R2, and option D. Root mean squared error, that is RMSE. So these are the option, and the correct option is option A, a true positive rate. So option A is the correct option, and it is because what does a model look like? An ROC curve that approaches the top left corner with 100% true positive rate and 0% false positive rate will be the best model. A random model would display as a flat line from the bottom left to the top right corner. Worse than random would dip below the y is equal to x line. So that is the explanation of the correct option. Question number 22 is that which two components can you drag onto a canvas in our Azure Machine Learning Designer? Each correct option represents a complete solution and each correct selection is worth 1 point. So the options are A. Dataset, B. Compute, C. Pipeline, and D. Module. And the correct options are, the first correct option is E, option A. Dataset, and the second correct option is option D. Module. So the dataset and the modules are the two components that you can drag onto canvas in Azure Machine Learning Designer. So Azure Machine Learning Design lets you visually connect dataset and modules on an interactive canvas to create machine learning models. Question number 23 is that you need to create a training dataset and validation dataset from an existing dataset. Which module in the Azure Machine Learning Design should you use? And the options are option A, select columns in the dataset, option B, add rows, option C, split data, and option D, join data. And the correct option is option C, split data. So option C is the correct options. So a common way of evaluating a model is to divide data into a training and test set by using split data and then validate the model on the training data. Use the split data module to divide a data set into two distinct sets. The Studio currently supports training validation data splits. So let's get to the next question, that is question number 24. Which two actions are performed during the data ingestion and data preparation stage of an Azure machine learning process? Each correct answer represents part of the solution and each correct selection is worth 1 point. And the options are option A, calculate the accuracy of the model. Option B, score test data by using the model. Option C, combine multiple data sets. Option D, use the model for real-time predictions. And option D, remove records that have missing values. And the correct options are option C, combine multiple data sets. So option C is the first correct options. And the second correct option is option E, remove records that have missing values. So option C and option E are the correct options. Question number 25 is that you need to predict the animal population of an area. Which Azure machine learning type should you use? And the options are again regression, clustering, and classification. And the correct option is the regression. So option A, regression is the correct option. It is because regression is a supervised machine learning technique used to predict numerical values, and here we are talking about the population, which is a numeric value. Question number 26 is that which two languages can you use to write custom code for Azure Machine Learning Designer? Each correct option presents a complete solution and each correct selection is worth 1 point, and the options are option A, Python, option B, or option C, and option D, Scala. And the correct options are the first language is that you can use in Azure Machine Learning Designer, option A, Python, and the second correct option is option B. So the options A and B are the correct options. Question number 27 is that your company wants to build a recycling machine for bottles. The recycling machine must automatically identify bottles of the correct shape and reject all other items. Which type of AI workload should the company use? And the options are option A, anomaly detection, option B, conversational AI, option C, computer vision, and option D, natural language processing. And the correct option is option C, computer vision. So Azure Computer Vision Service gives you access to advanced algorithms that process images and return information based on the visual features you are interested in. For example, computer vision can determine whether an image contains adult content, find specific brands or objects, or find human faces. Question number 28 is that in which two scenarios can you use the form recognizer service? Each correct option represents a complete solution and each correct selection is worth 1 point, and the options are option A, extract the invoice number from an invoice, option B, translate a form from French to English, option C, find image to product of product in a catalog, and option D, identify the retailer from a receipt. And the correct option is option A, that is extract the invoice number from an invoice. So this is the first correct option, and the next correct option is option D, that is identify the retailer from a receipt. So option A and option D are the correct options. You need to develop a mobile app for employees to scan and store their expense while traveling. Which type of computer vision should you use? And the options are option A, semantic segmentation, option B, image classification, option C, object detection, and option D, optical character recognition, that is OCR. And the correct option is option D, optical character recognition, that is OCR. So Azure Computer Vision API includes optical character recognition (OCR) capabilities that extract printed or handwritten text from images. You can extract text from images such as photos of license plates or containers with serial number, as well as from documents, invoices, bills, financial reports, articles, and more. Question number 30 is that you are designing an AI system that empowers everyone, including people who have or who has hearing, visual, or other impairments. This is an example of which Microsoft guiding principle for responsible AI. And the options are A, fairness, B, inclusiveness, C, reliability and safety, and D, accountability. And the correct option is option B, inclusiveness. So inclusiveness at Microsoft, we firmly, that is from Microsoft defined inclusiveness as that we firmly believe that everyone should benefit from intelligent technology, meaning it must incorporate and address a broad range of human needs and experiences. For the 1 billion people with disabilities around the world, AI technologies can be a game changer. Question number 31 is that you are building an AI system. Which tasks should you include to ensure that the service meets the Microsoft transparency principle of AI? And the options are A. Ensure that all visuals have an associated text that can be read by a screen reader. Option B. Enable auto-scaling to ensure that a service scales based on demand. Option C. Provide documentation to help developers debug code. And option D. Ensure that a training dataset is representative of the population. And the correct option is option C, to provide documentation to help the uh, let me get back to the question. Option C, to provide documentation to help developers debug the code. So option C is the correct option. Question number 32 is that when you design an AI system to assess whether loan should be approved, the factors used to make decisions should be explainable. This is an example of which Microsoft guiding principle for responsible AI. And the options are A. Transparency, B. Inclusiveness, C. Fairness, and D. Privacy and security. And the correct options are, or the correct option is option A. Transparency. So achieving transparency helps the team to understand the data and algorithms used to train the model. What transformation logic was applied to the data the final model generated and its associated assets. This information offers insights about how the model was created, which allows it to be reproduced in a transparent way. Let's get to the next question. And that is question number 33. You plan to use custom vision service to train an image classification. You want to create a resource that can only be used for model training and not for prediction. Which kind of resource should you use in your Azure subscription? And the options are A. Custom vision, B. Cognitive services, and C. Computer vision. And the correct option is option A, that is custom vision. So option A is the correct option. Question number 34 is that you train an image classification model that achieves less than satisfactory evaluation metrics. How might you improve it? And the options are A. Reduce the size of the image used to train the model. B. Add a new label for unknown classes. And C. Add more images to the training set. And the correct option is option C, that is add more images to the training set. Question number 35 is that you have published an image classification model. What information must you provide to developers who want to use it? And the options are option A, only the project ID, option B, the project ID, the model name, and the key and endpoint for the prediction resources, and option C, the project ID, iteration number, and the key and endpoint for training resource. And the correct option is option B, that is the project ID, the model name, and the key and endpoint for the prediction resource. So option B is the correct option. Question number 36 is that which of the following results does an object detection model typically return for image? And the options are A class label and probability score for the image. Option B, bounding box coordinates that indicates the region of the image where all of the objects it contains are located. And option C, a class label, probability, and bouncing box for each object in the image. And that is the correct option. That is a class label, probability, and bouncing box for each object in the image. Question number 37 is that you plan to use a set of images to train an object detection model and then publish the model as a predictive service. You want to use a single Azure resource with the same key and endpoint for training and prediction. What kind of Azure resource should you use? And the options are option A, cognitive services, option B, custom vision, and option C, computer vision. And the correct option is option A, that is cognitive services. Question number 38 is that you plan to use face to detect human faces in an image. How does the service indicate the location of the faces it detects? And the options are option A, a pair of coordinates for each face indicating the center of the face. Option B, two pairs of coordinates for each face indicating the location of the eyes. And option C, a set of coordinates for each face defining a rectangular bounding box around the face. And the correct option is option C, a set of coordinates for each face defining a rectangular bounding box around the face. So option C is the correct option. Question number 39 is that what is one aspect that may impair facial detection? And the options are A, glasses, B, extreme angles, and C, fast shutter speed. And the correct option is B, that is extreme angles. Question number 40 is that you want to use the computer vision service to analyze images. You also want to use the language service to analyze text. You want developers to require only one key and endpoint to access all of your services. What kind of resource should you create in your Azure subscription? And the options are option A, computer vision, option B, cognitive services, and option C, custom vision. And the correct option is option B, cognitive services. Question number 41 is that when you are creating a clustering model, what common machine learning algorithm are you using? And the options are option A, multi-class logistic regression, option B, k-means, option C, linear regression, option D, two-class neural network, and option E, decision forest regression. And the correct option is option B, k-means. So option B is the correct option. So the clustering is a machine learning form that groups items based on some common properties. The most common clustering means algorithm is k-means clustering. Question number 42 is that what are the four typical steps of data transformation for model training? And the options are option A, feature selection, option B, finding and removing data outliers, option C, split data, option D, impute missing values, option E, machine learning algorithm selection, and option F, normalize numeric features. And the correct options are, so we have to choose four options. The first correct option is option A, feature selection. The next correct option is option B, finding and removing data outliers. The third correct option is option D, impute missing values. And the last correct option is normalize numeric features, that is option F. So after we ingest data, we need to do a data preparation or transformation before supplying it for model training. There are four typical steps for data transformation such as feature selection, finding and removing data outliers, impute missing values, and normalize numeric features. So the next question is question number 43. Select three key fields that form recognizes service extracts from the common receipts. And the options are option A, today's date, option B, time of transaction, option C, taxes paid, option D, source of payment, option E, merchant information, and option F, promotion information. And the correct options are, the first correct option is option B, that is time of transaction. The second correct option is option C, taxes paid. And the third correct option is option E, merchant information. So B, C, and E are the correct options. And so the form recognized service is one of the Azure computer vision solutions. Additional to computer vision service, custom vision service, and face service. Form recognized service uses pre-built receipts model to extract such information from receipts, data of transaction, time of transaction, merchant information, taxes paid, and receipt total. The service also recognizes all text on the receipt and returns it. So let's get to the next questions. That is question number 44. You need to create a language model. What are the essential elements that you need to supply as data for your language model training? And the options are option A, verbs, option B, utterances, option C, intents, option D, subjects, option E, entities, and option F, knowledge domains. And the correct options are option B, utterances, option C, intents, and option E, entities. So for the language model training, we need to provide the following elements that are entities, intent, and utterances. We achieve this by using the Azure Cognitive Service LUIS portal. So entity is the word or phrase that is the focus of the utterance. As the word light in the utterance turn the light on. Intent is the action or task that the user wants to execute. It reflects in utterance as a goal or purpose. We can define intent as turn on in the utterance, turn the light on, while the utterance is the user's input that your model needs to interpret, like the turn the lights on or turn on the lights. So let's get to the next question, that is question number 45. What service does provide a user interface for a conversation AI agent? And the options are option A, Azure Speech, option B, Bot Framework, option C, Q&A Maker, option D, Azure Bot Service, and option E, Computer Vision Service. And the correct options are, the first correct option is, rather we have only one correct option, and that is option D, Azure Bot Service. So option D is the correct option. So Azure Bot Service provides a user interface and connections to different channels for conversation AI agents or bots. Question number 46 is, select all models that are part of supervised machine learning. And the options are option A, regression model, option B, association, option C, classification model, option D, clustering model, and option E, anomaly detection. And the correct models are the option A, regression model, option C, classification model, and these option A and C are the correct options. So a regression and classification modeling types are two parts of the supervised machine learning. Both techniques train the model using labeled data previously acquired or historical data for the label. Question number 47 is that you are using text analytic entity recognition API to analyze the following sentence. After Peter met Sarah at Microsoft headquarters in Paris, they visited Eiffel Tower. How many entities with the category location should you expect in the API response? And the options are A 0, B 1, C 3, and D 2. And the correct option is option C 3. So option C 3 is the correct option. So the named entity recognition NER is a text analytic service that helps identify entities in the text and group them into different entities categories like person, organization, location, event, etc. You should expect 3 recognized named entities with the category location in the API response, and these are headquarters, Paris, and Eiffel Tower. Select all examples of classification models from the given options. And the options are A. Predicting stock price based on earning reports. Option B. Banks assessment of the customer ability to pay back the loan. Option C. Defining marketing groups by similar buying habits. Option D. Monitoring time series data for supervised anomaly detection. And option E. Reading text in images. And the correct option is first correct option is option B. Bank's assessment of the customer ability to pay back the loan. And the second correct option is option D. Monitoring time series data for supervised anomaly detection. And the last correct option is option E. Reading text in images. So the classification is a machine learning form that predicts the category or class of the label. The classification model belongs to supervised machine learning. It trains the models using previously acquired or historical data for the label. Option B is correct because for the bank's assessment, you need to create a classification model that, based on historical data, defines classes or categories for the customer's ability to pay back the loan, like yes or no categories. Option D is correct because for supervised anomaly detection, you need to create a classification model that, based on historical data, defines normal or abnormal classes or categories for detecting the data irregularities in time series data. Option F is correct because we need to use optical character recognition OCR technique for reading text in images. OCR utilizes a multi-class classification model. Question number 49 is that you are creating a compute cluster for the production environment. You set the maximum number of nodes to 5. What should be the value for the minimum number of nodes? And the options are A5, B1, C0, D2, and E4. And the correct option is the minimum number of nodes in the production environment should be 0. So the correct option is C. With this setting, a compute cluster will be automatically stopped, deallocated during an idle and startup when you need. It will save cost and energy. So option C, 0 is the correct option. Question number 50 is that what markup language will you use to control for the control of speech synthesis output for your phone auto attendant? And the options are A. HTML, B. SQL, C. SSML, and D. JSON. And the correct option is option C. SSML. Azure Cognitive Services use speech synthesis markup language, that is SSML, for control of speech synthesis output. Using SSML and XML based language, you can change the voice speed and pitch and regulate how the text or the text parts should be read. Question number 51 is that you need to create a web bot using the Azure portal. You have to choose a bot template. What are two SDK languages you can select for the bot template? And the options are A. Python, B. C++, C, C, D. Node.js, and E. Java. And the correct option is C and Node.js. So C and D is the correct option. Azure Bot Framework SDK provides template only for two languages. Question number 52 is that can face service see face makeup in the person's face image? And the correct option is yes. So the face service can see makeup in the person's face image. So Azure Cognitive Face Service currently includes the following functionality: face detection, face verification, find similar faces, group faces on similarities, and person identification. Face API service call returns face attributes. Face attributes include age, gender, smile, glasses, emotion, mark, makeup, hair, etc. Question number 53 is that what is the main foundation for the personal digital assistant? And the options are A. Azure Speech, B. Bot Framework, C. Computer Vision Service, and D. Text Analytics. And the correct option is option B. Bot Framework. So a personal digital assistant is a solution based on the bot framework. It includes three main components such as Azure Bot Service, Bot Framework, and Knowledge Base. Question number 54 is that which amazing generative AI model has been praised for its exceptional ability to translate textual description into vivid images? And the options are A. GPT 3.4, B. GPT-4, C. Dolly, and D. Whisper. And the correct option is option C. Doll-E. So DALL-E is basically specifically used for generating images from textual descriptions. It is trained on a large dataset of image text pairs and can create vivid images based on textual prompts. The model has demonstrated impressive capabilities in understanding and translating textual description into visual representation, making it a significant advancement in the field of generative AI. Next question is question number 55. Which factor contributes to the longer training time required for deep learning algorithms compared to machine learning algorithms? And the options are option A, the ability to use small amounts of data for predictions. Option B, the creation of high-level features from data. Option C, the division of learning process into smaller steps. And option D, the inherent involvement of numerous layers in deep learning algorithms. And the correct option is option D, the inherent involvement of numerous layers in deep learning algorithms. So the deep learning models are characterized by their deep architectures, which consist of multiple layers of interconnected neurons. These layers allow the model to learn hierarchical representations of data, where each layer extracts increasingly abstract features from the input. Training these models often requires processing large amounts of data through numerous layers, leading to longer training times compared to simpler machine learning algorithms. Let's get to the next question, that is question number 56. And the question is, which of the following best describe the key capability of a machine translation achieved through deep learning? And the options are A. Speech or text translation from one language to another. B. Identifying and classifying distinct entities within a body of text. C. Locating and categorizing objects within pictures. And D. Producing descriptive explanation for images. And the correct option is, guess the correct option, and let me show the correct option. Option A, speech or text translation from one language to another. So option A is the correct option. And the explanation is that this option correctly describes the key capability of machine translation achieved through deep learning. Machine translation focuses on the automatic conversion of text or spoken language from one language to another, devoid of any human intervention. Deep learning models can effectively perform speech or text translation from one language to another by learning patterns and semantics. So let's get to the next question, that is question number 57. And the question is, which specific workload type within AutoML is typically employed in development process of chatbots that possess the capability of automatically responding to inquiries pertaining to refund and exchanges? And the options are A. Classification, B. Regression, C. Natural language processing, that is NLP, and D. Computer vision. And the correct option is, so the correct option is option C, natural language processing, that is NLP. So natural language processing NLP specifically deals with the text or speech data and aims to analyze, understand, and generate human language. It is the most suitable choice for developing chatbots that can automatically process and respond to questions. So question number 58 is that you are tasked with developing a predictive model for a multi-location retail business to generate accurate forecast for future sales, taking into account the historical sales data from each store and the unique seasonal pattern at each location. In this scenario, which AutoML workload type would you select to build a predictive model that effectively incorporates both the historic sales data and the seasonal variations? And the options are A. Classification, B. Regression, C. Time series forecasting, and D. Computer vision. And the correct option is, so the correct option was already highlighted, and that is option C. So option C is the correct option. So question number 59 is that you are assigned to develop an ML solution that can accept natural language input and generate original content. The solution should return appropriate responses in a variety of formats, such as in the form of an image or a code or an easy to understand natural language response. Which of the following should you use to meet the above requirements? And the options are option A, generative AI, option B, predictive AI, C, time series forecasting, and option D, natural language processing, that is NLP. And the correct option is, basically correct option is the generative AI, and this is the explanation of the correct option. So artificial intelligence imitates human behavior by using machine learning to interact with the environment and execute tasks without explicit direction on what to output. Generative AI describes a category of capabilities within AI that create original content. People typically interact with generative AI that has been built into chat application. One popular example of such an application is Microsoft Copilot, a chatbot companion to browse the web more effectively. Generative AI applications take in natural language input and return appropriate responses in a variety of formats, such as natural language, image, or code. So, option A, generative AI, is the correct option. Question number 6 is that which responsible AI principle aligns with the solution of implementing algorithmic techniques such as demographic parity or equalized odds to ensure that an AI system does not discriminate based on gender, race, sexual orientation, or religion? And the options are A, reliability and safety, B, accountability, C, inclusiveness, and D, fairness. And the correct option is D, fairness. So the fairness basically emphasizes that AI systems should not exhibit bias or discriminate against individual or group based on certain protected attributes such as gender, race, sexual orientation, or religion. So that's all. Thank you for watching, and please like and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you and bye.